11/18 on November 11, 2024. This is P.O.C. This is documentation of the pattern of conduct that Marriott Bonvoy. This is Courtyard by Marriott in not Monrovia, not Las Vegas, where I'm documenting the maintenance of a fake sun that remains directly over my head. And this is, again, we're in November of 2024, so I'm in Las Vegas, Nevada in the month of August, and this is daylight savings time, a difference of 1 hour, which will never compensate or satisfy the absolute scientific impossibility that the sun is going to remain over me, even given a difference of an hour where, again, I would still be driving around in Las Vegas, Nevada, and the fake sun would remain over me while I am in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I am en route toward the state of California, where Nevada State Police are gang stalking me with the light source over me, using their vehicle lights, engaged in criminal summoning with the people of the state. And that fake sun remains over me, over my vehicle, visible the entire route, going through the past the agricultural check, which is the San Bernardino County in California. This is under no circumstances the natural environment. This is where I am subject. Just want to preface this video documentation showing the fake sun that remains outside of my window, and the difference with regard to 7:49 a.m. and it's currently 11 o'clock in the morning. That's a little over 3 hours, almost 4 hours, and the fake sun is at the same position. The engineer light is in the same position inside of my room. This is where the entity is monitoring, engaging in a sex offense, not only monitoring my genitalia, but monitoring all of my personal and private information that is also online as I access my bank accounts and my credit cards on my communication device, which is subject to criminal monitoring. And they're also monitoring this documentation, which is putting the people of the state in federal prison. They act with impunity while they engage in a perpetual sex offense, which is going to be appreciated and prosecuted under federal law. And Courtyard Marriott is a corrupt business establishment that is organizing state surveillance and federal stalking with the very demons, the third parties, who are admitting to their criminal engagement in group stalking by virtue of providing their payment and identification and criminally remaining in the hotel rooms around me, where the fake sun, the specific environment, and the engineered light, the impossible light activity inside of my room and inside of this hotel, where the ongoing terrorism and harassment as an entity, as you can see, the methods, the same exact pattern of conduct, amplified audible activity, the sensational conduct, sensational activity such as the bed that I'm laying in, shaking and vibrating while I guess a demon is so great in power. While they close their door, it shakes my bed on the second floor. That's impossible sensational activity. While you're on the third floor in adjacent rooms, that's impossible sensational activity. While you are on the fourth floor above me, that's impossible sensational activity. And the evidence that I am subject to this terrorism is sitting on the record. Not only the fact that this is not the product of sunlight, nor would the sun be in the same position where it's at 7:49 in the morning, creating any sunlight on the inside. In addition to that, this is the shape of the window that's at a distance away from the window, coming into underneath a structure, a building, and appearing on the floor and also above my head. But I want you to recall where the entity is keeping the fakes, and that's the evidence that demons are gang stalking at Courtyard by Marriott, who's going to be civilly and criminally prosecuted. And I also, before I want you to see who indeed is going to federal prison. The people of the state: Modesta Villanueva, Christina Marino, Valerie Jordan. These are employees, Paige Allen, employees of the venue that is organizing group stalking in the specific environment. They are being paid as employees, and this is relevant to a criminal establishment where state surveillance that's designed to result in your murder and kidnapping, which is why the government is group stalking you in the specific environment. That is one that defies nature, the scientific impossibility that sunlight's going to appear above your head and also on the ground, on the inside of a building. Sunlight is not that which is going to bounce, appear underneath a covered structure inside of a window onto the ground inside. This is absolutely impossible. It's not just on the ground on the inside, but it's above on the ceiling. This is not the product of sunlight, and nor is the sun going to remain stationary at the same address, which is what I've documented. The employees of Courtyard by Marriott, not just those managers whose name you see, who are sex offenders, they're domestic terrorists, and they are criminally engaged in organizing state surveillance. This is a corrupt business, and they will be civilly and criminally prosecuted, and the employees are going to federal prison for organizing what is the group stalking system while I'm subject to terrorism inside of this hotel room that I paid a lot of money for. And the entity is monitoring this evidence as well. That's also why the demons who I've documented by license plate, whose business records, Marriott's business records, are the means whereby they will be providing all the information, everyone who was working, everyone who was staying at the hotel, because they're all going to federal prison. This is the light source where the entity is keeping a, it's necessarily the specific environment where Marriott can organize criminal monitoring designed to murder and kidnap an American citizen with the state that has no warrant or probable cause to keep you under surveillance via the people of the state, the third parties, the demon-possessed who are corporately group stalking with that government. This is the fake sun. It is Saturday, November 9th at 7:49 p.m. a.m. And the entity is monitoring this evidence in real time. Of, again, the light source that maintains this amazing ability to be in perfect alignment with my location, which is in defiance of the operation of nature, the way that the natural environment would actually work. And also, that's not just me as I document, because there's criminal conduct that I'm surrounded by, that I'm subject to while I'm showing this pattern of conduct. And that unnatural environment is a part of the pattern of conduct. It's a part of the identification of that malicious pattern of conduct. It's revealing what is demonic in its core, and it is criminal. Where that context, which is key, the pattern of conduct is demonic. And this is a light source where I am in Hesperia, California. The demons are pacing right now in the hallway while they are aware of monitoring this evidence. That's not a coincidence. It's criminal monitoring, but also the demons engage in increasing their criminal conduct, increasing their aggression, their hostility, which is a threat. And it's also a sex offense while you're monitoring. The demon in 410. Amplified pacing above my head. This is a terrorizing occurrence. The terrorists act via amplified audible activity to monitor. They're monitoring evidence that's submitted for the federal government. They are criminally intruding upon a federal investigation. They're going to federal prison for that. Keeping engineer light. This is for the purposes of monitoring someone who was documenting the pattern of conduct and blowing the whistle. That is also an unlawful intrusion in a federal investigation. They're going to federal prison for that. They're doing so with ongoing knowledge of the fact that you are seeking to enforce your rights and not be subject to a perpetual sex offense committed by the public, committed by the government, that relies on the criminal engagement in the elements of monitoring to keep you under surveillance, not only physically, but also on your communication devices. And what you see outside of my window is the scientific impossibility that the sun would remain stationary. Remember, I am, again, in the state of Las Vegas, Nevada, at another Courtyard by Marriott on Dean Martin, where there is no hour provision that's going to account for the maintenance of a fake sun necessarily, where amplified activity is sounding inside of my hotel room on an ongoing basis, which is the ongoing maintenance of a sex offense committed by that same entity. And the entity that's group stalking at a third-party innkeeper, such as Courtyard by Marriott, they are all going to federal prison for that massive sex offense and unlawful intrusion of your personal and private activity inside of that private space, which is the hotel room, while they're also criminally monitoring. 7:49 a.m. to what is the current time, 11:26 a.m. That is over 3 hours where this is non-movement. I'm outside of the same window. This is not the natural environment, nor is this the product of sunlight. Okay, so I'm standing in the sunlight, both on the ceiling. This is light activity designed to monitor, and the entity is with defiance to their ongoing criminal system and violating federal laws and the federal government. And they're going to be mindful of the federal government that is sentencing this entity will be mindful of the ongoing defiance that I continuously document. And this is the stationary maintenance of a fake sun that is nowhere to be Courtyard by Marriott in Las Vegas, Nevada, over my head at 12:08 p.m. or at 1:08 p.m. or at 11:08 a.m. This is under all circumstances an impossible, a scientific impossibility, which is speaking to intent to maintain criminal elements of monitoring, and they're doing it, which is legally relevant, inside of a hotel room, where a third-party innkeeper is profiting while you are under surveillance through their employees and through those who are in the role of patrons, maliciously group stalking with the state in the same exact demonic environment, engaging in conduct which is designed to psychologically torture. That's also why that entity is going to federal prison. It is currently 11:27 a.m. The entity shaking this bed, let me show you this bed shaking right here, while a demon on any floor, the second floor or the fourth floor, the third floor, room 312, room 38, room 311 directly across, or room 13. It's all an impossible occurrence, but it's exactly what I'm subject to in conformity to the long documented pattern of conduct, and it is as impossible of that which I also don't have to make up, that sunlight is not going to appear and engage in this sort of activity creation or on the inside of a building where the sun is outside and above the building, which is not also going to be stationary at the same exact location 3 three plus hours than the time where I captured it. And it's also speaking to that which is adjacent to my location as opposed to the sun that will be at a far higher up elevation. This is not the sun. And it's also maintaining presence at the same window in alignment to me at the same venue. That's not the sun, nor is the sunlight. That is the proof that I have exactly what it is that I've documented. The bed is shaking. It's impossible. This is a sturdy bed, a California king, and it's shaking while it is secured to the wall, and under no circumstances any flimsy structure, while the demons are monitoring me inside of this hotel room, which is a sex offense that, for example, Modesta Villanueva is organizing, and she's going to federal prison for it. This is a demon in a managerial position while the employees are organizing state surveillance here, and this is public corruption exposed. This is the grounds, the basis for civil and criminal prosecution in conformity to the long documented pattern of conduct. Okay, the light source being here at 7:49 a.m. is speaking to the impossibility that there's any sun at Woodside Senior Apartments. Doing so in conformity to the pattern of conduct where I'm subject to exactly what I'm documenting. The demons that they are intentionally placing all around me, engaged in ongoing stalking with amplified noise, including while my genitalia is exposed in the bathroom, while I'm in the bed, while I'm engaged in any personal private activity, including what I'm doing on the internet, on my phone. It's private information. That's why the government that has no actual exercise of authority under the law, that's abusing law, constitutional laws right now while group stalking, but while they abuse authority under the law, they have no authority to check your phone. They can't just check your phone without having the appropriate legal authority, and neither do the people of the state while they are invading your privacy on behalf of that state that's group stalking you. They are violating my law, my rights while they're reviewing and aware of the amount of money in my bank account, my bank account numbers, my logins to access my credit card accounts and my bank accounts, and what's going on with my Amazon account, that which is I'm subject to documenting. And then while I document this, they are unlawfully intruding upon a federal investigation while they monitor that as well. They are all going to federal prison. On the first floor, the rooms that are available for making available to the people of the state, the gang stalk rooms 101 to 110. On the second floor, they are gang stalking in rooms 201 to 235. On the third floor, they're gang stalking in rooms 301 to 345. On the fourth floor, they are gang stalking in rooms 401 to 445. And they are doing so, I just want to be clear, you're looking at the movement of the engineer light as you're looking at this 9:34. It's 11:30, 2 hours later. All right. This is, again, where the demons are stalking me with the method of noise, which is entirely demonic, that which is designed to falsely depict that person relaying or reporting that terrorism, that is designed to psychologically torture you, cause you to engage in suicidal ideation, cause you to engage in what is engage in acts of violence or freaking out amongst the demons who are terrorizing and group stalking you and sexually offending you. And then you are falsely depicted as one that is a danger to society. This is that criminal conduct that's occurring. The fake sun, the engineer light's appearing here, and at 11:30, 2 hours later, here it is still inside of my hotel room, while the fake sun is remaining outside of my hotel room, while demons are surrounding me in all of the surrounding hotel rooms on all floors, first, second, third, and fourth, and they're all going to be prosecuted for federal group stalking and monitoring, federal stalking under Title 18, Section 2261A, subsections 1 and 2. The ongoing malice and impunity with which this entity engages in this pattern of conduct is also relevant to the terms in federal prison, and also the enhancement to the damages that Courtyard by Marriott, a corrupt business that is a domestic terrorist and a violent sex offender, as that person, Courtyard Marriott Bonvoy, shall be treated, and that reputation, which is necessarily being destroyed while I'm exposing the fact that this corrupt business is a sex offender. They are a proponent for violating and decimating your constitutional rights. They're hostile to your enforcement of them while they organize your surveillance, while they organize sexual violence amongst the demons, the sex offenders who are paying money to group stalk me and keep you under surveillance wherever it is that you're at in a specific environment, which includes the impossible light and the maintenance of a fake sun in alignment to me at this hotel in Hesperia, California. I want to make sure that you recognize and understand who, in fact, is going to federal prison. It's not just the entity that's gang stalking that's being prosecuted, by the way, for federal stalking. Denny's in relevant position, Burger King in relevant position, Jack in the Box, Mobile, the Skittles Donut Shop, the Starbucks across the street, In-N-Out Burger. They're all monitoring while the demons are maintaining close presence around me and gang stalking, maintaining monitoring elements with regard to the surveillance online, the surveillance of any movement of my person. And these commercial actors are fully engaged in that sex offense. They're fully engaged in that criminal act of group stalking with the entity. And you know that because while I move, so does the fake sun. Any one of these venues that I just documented and exposed as engaged in state surveillance and federal stalking and under Title 18, they're all engaged in state surveillance, and the evidence is that the fake sun and the engineer light remains over me as I go to any of those aforesaid venues, which are on the opposite side of this building. This fake sun will not be on the back portion where my hotel room showing to what is a fake sun moving as I move. This fake sun will be at the entrance portion of this venue, remaining over me, over my vehicle as I drive away from this venue. And everybody that I drive away from at this venue will be going to federal prison. This documentation remains on the record. Their criminal engagement in the pattern of conduct with malice and impunity remains a part of the record. And you are not escaping that federal prosecution. You're going to federal prison. It is currently 11:33 a.m. And again, this is Courtyard by Marriott in what is Hesperia, California. And Courtyard by Marriott acts with impunity as a corporate actor and as the workforce that's engaged in public corruption, engaged in state surveillance in the state of California. This is, again, Courtyard by Marriott in Monrovia, recall the record. Courtyard by Marriott in Las Vegas, Nevada, recall the record, where the entity is maintaining a fake sun over me in the state of Nevada, en route from Nevada to California. The entity is keeping a fake sun from rise until set at Courtyard by Monrovia, providing no provision for there to ever be a natural environment that includes the sun being outside of my window in Hesperia, California. Neither does nature provide any occurrence where the sun would be outside of the same window. 7:49 a.m. to what is 11:34 a.m. That's not the natural environment. The sun is a gaseous ball of fire that's not hovering adjacent to us while we are human beings on the ground, and the sun is directly above us, not beside our buildings, not creating light that's occurring underneath, appearing both on the inside, underneath structures. This is impossible. That sunlight is this product appearing both above and below. This is not sunlight, and it's also not sunlight as it creates multiple shadows, magnified shadows that are upright in size. I've documented all the methods of impossible light, and you're looking at it on the outside of this building. All right, the bushels outside are illuminated with engineered light. That's not sunlight. This is engineered light reflecting off the building outside and also appearing on the inside above and below my head on the inside of this hotel room. While I'm documenting this on yet another day, while I'm up at 12-1-2-3-4 being disrupted by the sex offenders who are obsessed with my genitalia, stalking my every move, and monitoring, keeping me under surveillance online and via communication devices, this is documentation of impunity, which is directly relevant to your federal prison term. All right, and the damages awarded. It's currently 11:35 a.m. at Hesperia's Marriott, Courtyard by Marriott, where the fake sun is remaining and engineer light remains. And this is an unlawful molestation. Courtyard by Marriott is going to also be prosecuted for what is a molestation of my person, the unlawful touching of my person to keep me under surveillance in an environment that's intentionally maintained for the criminal purposes of the demons who are maintaining criminal presence in the demonic environment. They are acting in sync with Satan. This is P.O.C. It's currently 11:36 a.m.